Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. Continuing our conversation about food wastage, Canadians throw out millions of tons of food every year. That's billions of dollars of perfectly good food just rotting away while more and more Canadians are becoming food insecure. It feels wrong, almost criminal. So is there a legal remedy here? Someone we can sue about this? To break it down, my counterpart on the Soapbox Social panel on CBC Radio's On the Coast with Gloria Makarenko, representing Acumen Law. She is Kyla Lee, and this is Kyla's Court. Kyla, I don't want to sound like some sort of commie, but I do feel like the amount of food that even us Canadians waste is like borderline criminal. So is there any legal recourse to go after the perpetrators? Like, can we go after big grocers for all the food that they waste instead of selling?
I mean, you can sue anybody. Whether you'd be successful in that lawsuit, whether you have a legitimate claim is another question. And while there's some arguable cases for causes of action, at the end of the day, I don't think there would be any provable case for food waste that would successfully have an outcome in court.
But in an environment where Canadian kids are going hungry, in an environment where we know food waste leads to the creation of greenhouse gas emissions that are quite high collectively, I mean, can't there be an argument made that, hey, this is not in the public good? In fact, it's causing the public harm, especially at the grocery level where they know when food might be going bad, so they could donate it or, give it off for even cheaper, give it away for even cheaper.
So members of the public can sue when there are public harms being caused under like a public nuisance law, but the connection between food waste and the harms to the environment and the harms to individuals themselves is so, I guess, remote. It's not a close enough connection to give good grounds for a lawsuit.
I can't blame the big grocers for food waste, is what you're saying.
No, the same way we can't, sue individually big tobacco for secondhand smoke causing us problems, or we can't individually sue. The government could sue, and that would be a different issue, but we couldn't.
So is that something that is perhaps an open lane where the government could look into suing big grocers or other industrial food producers for food wastage?
Yes, the BC government has historically written legislation that's allowed them to sue big tobacco for the healthcare cost recovery. They've written legislation to allow them to sue pharmacy companies for cost recovery, vaping companies. They could do the same thing for big food producers, connecting it to the environmental harms and the costs that government has had to pay out both in healthcare and environmental costs.
Well, I know David Eby is a big fan of the show, so hopefully he's watching and taking notes here. What about things like best before dates? Because there has been some controversies about how best before dates may be a bit misleading, causing people to throw out perfectly good food. So for the people who make the best before dates, can't we go after them and say, hey, I'm losing all this money every year, which is leading to food wastage, environmental degradation, et cetera, et cetera?
You don't want to sound like a commie. I don't want to sound like a capitalist, but if I were representing the best before date producers, I would say best before doesn't mean expired. It just means it's going to taste better before this date. And it's not misleading people. People are just misunderstanding it.
Wow. It's the fault of the poor consumer who relies on this information and assumes that it means one thing?
Yes, and you can see different products will have, best before dates versus expiry dates. So there is a difference on the shelves that you can see. It's that the food producers are counting on you to not think critically about the information.
But it seems like it's misleading, though, because we know, again, best before, I think a lot of people just assume that means it's bad once you reach that date.
Oh, I'm sure they're trying to be misleading, but just because they're trying to be misleading doesn't make it anything that you can sue over. Just like when they say, all natural flavors doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy or good for you.
Okay, so kids are going hungry in this country. We have greenhouse gas emissions from the type of food wastes that we have. And what you're saying is that Canadians are basically powerless.
As individuals, we are powerless. Our government has power. And so the power that we have is putting pressure on the government to act against these food companies and act against food waste and to create legislation to stop it.
So again, this is not a you or me problem. This is a David Eby problem. He should get on it.
Absolutely.
Let's just end on that. Yeah. David Eby, do more already. Kyla, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Folks, thank you so much for watching. And a big thank you to Dr. Melissa Lem, David Long, and cool Kyla Lee for tonight's show. If you lost your appetite tonight or found yourself licking your plate, also sorry about that news about Diet Pop. You can't have it anymore. Please shoot me an email, mo@thisisvancolour.com. Also, get your family what they truly want this Christmas, a stay at Pacific Sands Beach Resort in Tofino. They're supporting local conversations right here on This is VANCOLOUR. Also, do not waste food. Instead, waste time on social media, where you can follow me @VANCOLOUR. We're back next week, but until then, stay colorful, friends. Peace.